Attention Sleepless Knights. Thank you for consuming this OSI 74 product broadcast, live from the Black Knight satellite. For optimum performance and safety, your host, Mr. Lobo, asks that you please listen to these instructions carefully. When in a hospital or other healthcare facility, observe the restrictions on the use of electronic devices. Switch off before boarding an aircraft to prevent interference with communications systems. Do not operate this device in the presence of flammable gases or fumes, chemical plants, or where blasting operations are in progress. Always listen hands-free while driving a vehicle. Failure to observe these instructions may lead to immediate termination. It's time now for the show to begin. Thank you. Have a very pleasant evening.
You're not dreaming. You're listening to the Sleepless Knights podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Lobo. Across from me is Paul Sanders, who is trying to repair his microphone.
It's goofed up.
And to my right is Miss Mittens, who is...
So now I'm no longer to your left.
Well, I mean, okay, I guess you can be to my left, but we are across from each other.
But what if we were in a space? You know, we're in space. Is it really like left and right when we're floating around?
All right. Okay. Well,
without our pants. Well, without my pants.
Okay. How about we'll just start over? This is Mr. Lobo. I'm here. My co-hosts are Mr. Paul Sanders from Bestow TV.
Who?
And Miss Mittens, who is my co-host on Cinema Insomnia.
Now, where am I in relations to you, though?
That's why I avoided saying that.
Well, now I'm confused. Now
you've got nothing to bitch about.
You didn't set the stage, so now the viewers or the listeners don't know where.
All right. Okay. How about this? To my right, Miss Mittens, and to Miss Mittens' right, Paul.
Sure.
And we are here, and I am to Paul's right, going around this table.
Correct.
And I'm enjoying a nice cup of coffee. Paul's like counting his toes and comparing his hands to figure out which direction is left and right. I am drinking a nice hot cup of coffee. I'm not a pretentious coffee drinker. I think a lot of people might assume that Mr. Lobo rather would be a pretentious coffee drinker. I don't need it doesn't need to be grown on the left side of the volcano or the right side,
just right down the middle
from the volcano. It doesn't have to be the beans don't have to be.
They don't have to be pooed out by those cats.
Pooed out by. It's right. Pooed out by meerkats. No.
Yet.
I like. The coffee that I drink at home is probably the least expensive coffee in the Walmart coffee aisle, and it is called Cafe Bestow, # not sponsored.
You beat me to it. Now I have nothing to say. I'm just going to sit here and stare at you some more.
There's a streamer of drool coming from Paul's chin here.
I've been awake a whole 4 hours. I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah,
I've had a full day.
This has been a tyranny of staying awake today. We went to the post office, and I was literally brought to tears just by trying to make a simple post office transaction.
And of course, you're talking about coffee, and I've been off of caffeine now for 4 days now. So now it's
now. Tell me about this, Paul. Why did you? You're an energy drink guy. We talked about this on the podcast.
We talked about it before.
I'm a hot liquid drinker. You are not not a hot liquids drinker.
Yeah, just sewage is just fine.
Yeah,
just raw sewage,
cold raw sewage. So Paul would drink usually a Monster
a day.
One a day, and usually on a work day, like when you're doing a convention and stuff.
Correct.
And so what's been happening recently to where you feel like you needed to temper that, you needed to scale that
I was
down?
getting a little bit abusive with it, where it was like, I get up in the morning, I'd have my Monster, I go into editing, I'd take some time off to do whatever I needed to do, I come back to editing, I'd have another one. Mm-hmm. So I was having 2 a day for a while there, and then it was just getting to the point where I'm half asleep, and all of a sudden my heart's beating out of my chest and everything, and it's like, and I also had a doctor's appointment on top of that, and they're like, yeah, your blood pressure is really off the roof and everything. So I was like, yeah, I know I'm not gonna stop completely, but I'm gonna stop for a little bit. And I think today's the day where it finally caught up to me, where it's like, yeah, no energy whatsoever.
Yeah, I get you. I'm at that point where the coffee just sort of gets me to a baseline.
I'll probably break tomorrow when I have to do a convention tomorrow, and I'll probably have to have something to.
I think we
keep
got
moving.
one more monster there for you, Paul, but I think we'll end up having to go to the store tonight. Yeah, caffeine is kind of a harsh mistress. You know, I like my coffee like I like my women, which is cold, bitter, and available. But I think my coffee that I drink, like the one that I said I get from the Walmart, which I'm not proud that I have to buy to the Walmart. It's just that that's the closest store in the middle of nowhere where we're living in the Lochanar farmhouse that we're living in the middle of Amish country.
It's the third horse stable to the left.
Yeah. Which is, and people ask me, why do you live out in the middle of nowhere? And the answer is the same as the coffee. It's inexpensive to live out in the middle of nowhere. And you get a little extra privacy. I don't have quite as many people saying, "Oh, Mr. Lobo," you know, when I am just trying to buy my cheap coffee. No, which I actually don't mind when people come up and say, you know, if you're feeling intimidated about coming up and saying, "Hey, Mr. Lobo, I really," you know, gauge my personality a little. I mean, if I'm like, you know, having an argument with somebody, or or maybe I'm like have my mouth full of food, maybe that's not the best time. You know, there is something nice about having the privacy of being a little privacy when you need it, and especially people to leave you alone when you're trying to make art.
And they really leave you alone when you're pantsless. So
everybody leaves Paul alone, especially when he's not wearing pants. But the coffee that I normally get is the cheapest, most available coffee, but it is very good. And I don't know what my point was.
Okay.
Was there a point?
I don't know what your point was. On the top of your head?
We're tired. Yeah. That's the point.
Coffee sucks.
Paul hates coffee. Caffeine is, yeah, anyhow, I used to work in a cafe and it was like double, triple espressos. And the effect would be, you know, just to get yourself up to normal, like any addiction, you know, at a certain point, it's not giving you anything anymore. It's just getting you up to normal. And so that's what addiction is all about. You just don't function properly without it. So there's no bonus anymore. You just are a slave. So I would have to stop cold turkey. Once I got to about 6 shots, once I needed about 6 shots in my cafe mocha, I realized that was time to scale back. So I'd go cold turkey for 6 months. And then I'd reset, and then I'd have one cup of coffee, then a coffee with a shot, and then 2 shots, and then 3 shots, and then triple espresso, then 6 quadruple espresso, 6-tuple espresso, and then I'd have to go cold turkey again. So it's a 6-month on, 6-month off cycle for caffeine for Mr. Lobo as far as effectiveness goes. I haven't been off it though in a while, so I'm still at this point where this giant mug of coffee is just getting Mr. Lobo up to a normal baseline.
Now, if we can just get you off the cocaine, that would be very ideal.
Yeah, Robin Williams got me on cocaine back in the '80s, and it was a bad scene. And it's
because of all those Alf episodes.
Yeah, right. I was watching a lot of Alf with Robin Williams.
Speaking of Alf, I think it's on Vudu or whatever that they have a few free episodes.
Vudu or Hulu or one of those.
I think it's Vudu that has the free episodes. I was kind of watching it, trying to
understand,
bring up some memories.
Why Alf was popular.
Trying to bring up some memories, and I'm like, what? I kind of remember the
bring
pilot.
Up some bile.
Bring up something.
Watching. Yeah.
Bring up some monsters.
I remember thinking it was hilarious. Like, I mean, I guess I was a teenager, or an older teenager. 18, 19. I think that's when Alf was happening, right? 1988, 89.
Okay.
Something like that.
Sure.
And I remember thinking how great it was. You know, he's from Planet Melmac. He eats cats. That's so irreverent. You know, he talks like a Catskill comedian.
Ha!
Yeah. Willie! No, Elf, no, don't eat Fluffy. Ha! Yeah, that was like every episode. So I don't know how we got to Alf, but we're here today.
Cocaine.
Yes,
cocaine always gets you to Alf.
Yeah.
I think that's on a shirt somewhere.
Yeah, Alf's nostrils always find you cocaine. So we are here, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for you. We wanted to talk a little bit about our Patreon and about the business of business
And fans.
and fans, because we love you.
And I have a fan.
It is the only
I have one fan.
I know you do.
I know.
We'll talk about it though
One
after you
fan.
come back,
Aw.
though, right? Yeah, because we're wrapping this up to go away for our very important breaks.
But I really had to talk about my fan.
Paul has a fan, and he's very excited about it, and he'll tell you all about it when Sleepless Knights comes back.
Comeback, presenting Jack Jones, the international singing star, as the idol of millions who becomes a target for terror. A man fighting for his career and his life in The Comeback. Is he going mad? Or is there someone who hates him enough to kill and kill again? The Comeback, Certificate X, showing now at ABC's Shaftesbury Avenue, Fulham Road, Edgware Road, and the classic Oxford Street, and all over London from Sunday.
And we're back with more Sleepless Nights of Insomnia. We'll promise. Is this going to be not the Alf episode? Can we not talk about Alf anymore?
Is this an episode that ends with a 1?
The OCD school of producing content.
It has to end with a 1.
If the episode ends with a one, then we don't talk
Then
about
it's
something.
not. Then it's not a something or other.
Because something audiences really align with are inside jokes.
Yes.
That's something that always works. So we are here. I went to the post office today, and that was probably the most productive thing, Mr. Lobo.
You went to
did
the post
today.
office like 3 times today.
Yeah, I did. I forgot. Well, firstly, we had to mail a bunch more magnets. I don't know if any of you are on Patreon. You saw that big, proud pile of magnets that were supposed to go out a few days back. And that
Hashtag plugged.
big, proud pile of Mr. Lobo magnets that we were sending out as a reward. Now, these magnets were not sale items. These were magnets that one would, I think we gave them to, we had a limited number, and any Patreon supporter who had been with us for any length of time or a certain length of time could just get a free magnet.
Oh, well, then I get a magnet.
Yeah, sure, Paul. Help you.
I'm the number one
Just turn
supporter.
a 1 and grab one off the shelf. So
Stick it right in the middle of my forehead.
Yeah, with your metal plate in your
Yes.
forehead.
I don't. Yeah, sure.
So, and it's like you get that big proud pile ready, and you take your picture and you write your article about it, and then you realize it's 4:30 and the post office is closed because that's how early
That was yesterday.
the post office closes.
Oh, we'll do this after we do laundry.
Yeah, well, that was actually 3 days ago. It was supposed to go out, and then the next day we decided to do laundry. And if you were with us last time, there was a lot of laundry. You know, when we closed, if you notice, we closed out the show pretty like on time, which almost never happens. That's because we had an enormous amount of laundry to fold, and we were folding laundry for maybe 4 hours,
Something like
after
that.
because we're mentally ill. That's the thing that I'm realizing, is that this whole farce, this hoax of my career is that Mr. Lobo, this is a make-a-wish for Mr. Lobo. Mr. Lobo has serious mental problems. I'm looking at my house, the condition of my home. I'm looking at the piles of clean laundry that we have yet to put away.
And then telling Paul every day to put pants on.
And telling Paul every day to put pants on. I don't know why that's part of a mental illness. I think that might be part of your mental illness.
Maybe. I'm tired of hearing it. Just leave me alone. I don't want to wear pants. I like having my sweats on.
Sweats and shorts and
Jeans on right now. And that's just
Bong. frustrating
frustrating as it is.
clown pants, chef pants, anything but proper Christian clothes. So we're here. I keep saying we're here as if we're
We're
going to
here.
be somewhere else. But
Well, you're there. I'm over here.
well, we're all somewhere. Miss
I'm either
Mittens
to the
is
left or
there.
to the right of you.
Yeah, Miss Mittens is also there. Miss Mittens is just sort of aloof. She is sick of it also. But
Well, I don't think she was too happy that we censored all of her, she got to close out the show the one
Yeah.
episode, and I had to censor it because it got a little bit
Spicy.
Yeah,
As it does.
and cut it off a little early.
Miss Mittens is a little hungover. I think that is
From that same episode.
yeah. So, but at least she's here this time. She wouldn't go to the laundromat because she, one thing she doesn't like to go out. She's kind of like Garbo. She doesn't like to go out in public. She's worried about a fan seeing her.
Well, that's because she likes her panties soiled.
Oh, Paul.
Soiled. Soiled
Paul.
dirt. Dirty.
Paul. No.
What?
Just no.
I'm not wrong.
Soil as in potting soil.
Yes.
I get it, but that's disgusting.
Whatever. I bet you'll have a #1 sale if we put that on Patreon.
Miss
Mittens' dirty soiled
undies. Wow.
And we just put it with a little package of
All right.
fertilizer.
Well, please let us know if you would buy a pair of undies for a plant, because we've become that desperate to turn a profit on this enterprise that we are going to offer panties for a plant just to appease our fans.
With soil.
With
With
potting
dirt.
soil smeared into them. Oh my God. Oh my God. Good Lord. So one of the things I was realizing is that Mr. Lobo might be a talented horror host, but he is a terrible businessman. And I'm realizing that my business model sucks, to use a colloquial phrase.
But your train model is pretty impressive. I was checking that
Yes,
out earlier.
my train model is. I have a model of the shuttle Tiderium that'll knock your socks off that I glued together when I was
soil your
12 years
panties.
old, or 13. But as far as like the business of business, I'm realizing that in this day and age, trying to get anyone to pay for entertainment that is not made by Disney is tough. I think that I'm realizing that I'm becoming a clearinghouse of tchotchkes and merchandise, and that's the game that seems to work the best. And I need to get real good at it, making a lot more merchandise, a lot more physical items that our existing fan base can collect and enjoy. Because I think that those are the things like the magnets. We had a big response to the magnets. We had a big response to the stickers. We had a big response to, people like the fan club kit, people like the shirts. It's just that we need to constantly let people know that those things exist, have a decent way of getting the word out, and a decent way of making it easy for people to purchase them. We may have to start putting all of our items in multiple places, like not just in our own shop, but having them in a lot of other, Amazon, eBay, all that, just so people can, if they're thinking, oh, I want a Mr. Lobo bacon bender, they can just go out and immediately get one, because apparently you guys want a bacon bender more than you do a TV show.
Sure.
What's your opinion on this, Paul? What do you feel?
I feel.
What's your
I'm
plan?
already behind that curtain. I'm on the other side, so I don't want any Mr. Lobo stuff. I just want to produce shit.
That's what I want to do.
Let's produce shit.
We're working on it.
Okay.
But we've got a budget of like $200.
It's better than our budget last month.
Yeah, well, and we've got to make that budget stretch, and unfortunately, we've got to feed ourselves, and we've got things that we have to buy and things that we have to, fires we have to put out. So we have to be smart. So how do we get smart, Paul?
Jeez, I should have had a monster right now. Son of a bitch.
Thanks for tuning into an extra depressing episode of Sleepless Nights of Insomnia.
We eat a lot of bananas because bananas have potassium, and potassium helps you think better. So we just need to eat a shitload of bananas and then just think about this really hard.
What was the thing that we need to eat a lot of?
bananas
And why was
Potassium.
the reason we had to eat a lot of bananas?
to make us smarter
And why did we need to be smarter?
because we suck at this.
Yes. Suck. I don't like that term suck. Don't we, we live in a day and age where everything sucks. That
Everything
sucks.
sucks.
This sucks.
I can't watch any movie. They all suck.
They all suck. And it's like, and I try to like, I've succumbed, because I've succumbed to sucking. Nothing sucks like success, I like to say.
Welcome to Sleepless Knights podcast after dark.
Yeah.
In this episode, Mr. Lobo sucks.
Oh, Paul, come on, grow up. So we're, and I feel like, do we have to say, can we have a more intelligent description of things? Does it have to go right to it sucks? What does that even really mean anyway when somebody says something sucks?
Then how about it's crap? It's crappy.
Well, how about inhales deeply?
Oh, how about it's in the dumper?
A dumper. Apparently, I say dumper a lot. This is something that Paul has observed. This is in the which thing was that?
It was the
internet acronyms.
Internet
Dumper
acronyms
diaper
3.
time.
Dumper diaper time. You kept
Diaper dump
It was
time.
supposed to be
Did
diaper
we
dump
have the
time.
same conversation?
I think
in
we
the last
might have.
episode?
I don't know.
All right. Well,
I remember I didn't eat enough bananas this morning. So.
and I don't want to sound like I'm whining here because I kind of feel like I'm whining. I have a lot of wonderful, supportive fans. The problem is my part of it is that I how they say you need like 1,000 activated fans or 25 super fans. I already have that. I have thousands of fans and I have many, many, many super fans. I am not good at taking it to the bank. I am not good at monetizing my work. I need to offer things that people are interested in, and I don't know if I need to go back to. Somebody said MP4s, putting MP4s up for sale. If we had MP4s of that they would buy an MP4 of every episode if we made them available.
Interesting.
I just haven't done that. So I can't complain I didn't make any money selling MP4s when I don't have any up for sale. I can't complain that even DVDs. I have the same 4 DVDs that are in print that I have for sale. I need to have more DVDs. If people even want DVDs.
Mr. Lobo does on DVD.
Mr. Lobo does. Why not? Mr. Lobo does on DVD. How
We
many?
haven't completed a season yet.
Oh, is that what we need to do?
I think that we were talking about we were waiting for a couple more episodes to complete out
We
our
could
season.
do Mr. Lobo does on DVD, and then Paul could make some money.
What's that?
it's-
What's money? What do you use that for? What does it look like?
It's that stuff I use to buy your food when you come over.
Well, apparently there's not enough bananas.
All right. So, and I feel like I'm talking about food. I think if someone's going to come and help you make your movie, the very least you can do is feed them. I've been on a lot of sets where they don't want to feed you.
I've been on. I don't know if we've talked about this before or whatever, but I can share a story when we get back.
All right.
And I apologize if I have already shared that story once before, but
Yes, and we didn't talk about your one fan.
yeah,
So-
I have a fan.
Yeah, fan. So when we come back, we will talk about feeding people who work on your movie
And having a fan.
and what's it like to have a fan. Paul can tell you
don't
about
know.
his fan.
What happens if you lose that fan? I hope not.
You just have to get another fan.
Do I have to buy him bananas?
Let's not get gross. All right, Paul. We'll be right back.
It's Buddha Gonzalez,
This is Domino.
and we're here to talk to you about our show, Bizarre Transmissions from the Bermuda Triangle.
Breaking new gate.
You see, our show features wild and one-of-a-kind music videos of all genres.
Ooh, and don't forget, we also have artist spotlight, special guests, and demented humor.
That's right, it's all part of OSI 74's Secret Sundays.
Hey yo. The man with the goodies is here. I got stuff you might want. Stuff that makes you feel real good. I got t-shirts. I got buttons. So you know what I can do for you? Every time you buy something, I'll send you a fan club membership card. So if you buy a patch, I'll send you a fan club membership card. If you buy an autographed picture with your name on it, and I've got your name, I'll send you a fan club membership card. And you can give that one to a friend. Remember, any friend of a Midnighter has got one friend.
Go to the OSI 74 shop to buy your Midnight Frights merchandise.
We are back once again. There are no bananas in this house, by the way.
We have no bananas. We have no bananas today.
That's true. And Miss Mittens does not like the fact that we would be eating bananas because bananas are herbs. Did you know that? I think they're herbs. They're not technically vegetables. So they're plants. So we would be eating one of Miss Mittens' prehistoric relatives by eating a banana. So she has very strong words about eating bananas.
I'll risk it.
You're going to take on Miss Mittens?
I'll
You're going to fight
take on
Miss
Miss
Mittens?
Mittens.
Whoa,
I think
man.
I can-
Oh, man. It's fight. It's
Ow.
on.
Oh, quit it.
Miss Mittens is no one to fuss with, man. Miss Mittens is a beast. She will tear you up.
Beast with a billion backs.
That's the
Futurama.
Futurama thing, right? Which is I guess a play on words with a beast with two backs, which is a euphemism for mommy daddy time. Right?
Silence.
Making bacon.
Making bacon.
Yeah.
Shoving the banana.
No, Paul. No. Just no. All right, so we are back. Paul has a couple things he wants to talk about. I guess, what do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about your fan, or we want to talk about food?
We'll save the fan. We'll just build that up for a big
whole
because
That's
build
the big
that up
payoff?
the whole episode.
Okay, food. So talk about food.
Yeah, I was on a set where I usually most of the time when you're on set, it's a thing. They get catering, they feed you, and they make sure you're fed and everything else. I've actually one of the first sets that I worked on, I was the assistant director and helped actually organize catering, make sure that there was a head count for who was going to be there and such and so on and so forth. But yeah, I've been on sets where they don't feed you and they want to do 12-hour days, and you got little Mr. Diabetic here who can't skip meals, and we're in the middle of the hood and going off to a bodega, and told a little bit later where it's like, you really shouldn't be leaving set without having somebody with you, because there's people driving around scoping out your equipment, and they'll kill you for it.
Wow.
They don't care.
Wow.
But yeah, it was actually kind of, and that set's kind of weird. Was kind of weird anyway, because they weren't feeding people, and this was going on for long enough that you'll be in the middle of doing something and people just up and disappear. They walk out on you to go get food, and that ruins like your day of shooting. That ruins your schedule because people you're counting on are just gone.
When we had Camp Lobo set up, we tried to make sure that everybody was getting fed, and I think for the most part we ate pretty well.
Yeah, I couldn't complain about the cat food that I had. The cat didn't like it, but she was meowing.
Paul, there was a
meowing
couple
her
of
head off
times
at
where
me.
Paul didn't look so good, where we were shooting for a long extended time. It was like, okay, Paul needs to eat now.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Then I got yelled at afterwards for eating a prop. It's like, you ate a prop. How was I supposed to know it was a prop? Sorry. I was just trying to cut the cheese. Eat the cheese.
Oh no. Yes, Paul was definitely Paul has definitely eaten some props, and did we eat the Mr. Lobo's cereal? I think we did at some point.
Probably.
Yeah,
probably at some point in time we did.
And then we made the in the Beastie Yellow Night we made the banana pudding. Bananas. That's where we had our bananas.
Yeah.
That's why that shoot went so well. It's because we were eating bananas.
Right.
We made
We were smart.
The Philippines is the largest exporter of bananas. One of the largest exporters.
See, it came around.
And Paul has a message. One of the largest exporters of bananas, and so for the Beast of Yellow Night, since it was yellow, we did a gag where it was the Beast of Jello Night, and we had a dessert recipe with bananas in it, and I won't spoil it beyond that. But we made a damn what I like to say, a goddamn mess in here.
Yeah, that calls back. You guys, if you've been listening to the episodes or if you're brand new, because like Stanley has said, everybody's podcast is their first podcast,
right?
But if you've listened back in the past, this is where we got yelled at by Aaron because we used the green screen as a tablecloth.
Yeah, Aaron's used to working with idiots. He's worked on a lot of films, and usually he ends up losing his temper like the second day of shooting because of something totally inane happening on the set. So he was very surprised that he had been with us for 2.5 weeks.
Surprised he didn't blow up earlier.
Yeah,
I pick
or whatever.
on him.
I think he was there for 2 weeks or something, and then he finally, very close to the end, got mad at us.
What the fuck is wrong with you? He's standing on the stairs.
Yeah, he comes down and sees us using a green screen for a tablecloth.
And the thing is, I think we shot it. Didn't we shoot it? This was after we made the mess, and then he realized it was the green screen.
Yeah, there's banana pudding
because there was
on
banana pudding and everything all
and
over
he's
it
like,
this time.
"The fuck is wrong with you?" So yeah, Paul. That he usually, so he finally lost it, but. Aaron, we love to have Aaron back out here, and I don't know if we'll be able. And I don't want to sound like a sad. I don't want to the violins. We play the violins, maybe. I don't know if we're going to be able to afford to have Aaron come back out in May if we don't get more Patreon supporters, because it was expensive to film those. Not very expensive. I guess it was reasonable to shoot those episodes, and we were able to shoot a few and get some in the can. We were able to plan a lot more episodes, but we just ran out of money for the most part. So
that wasn't fun.
What, that wasn't
when
fun?
We ran out of money.
No,
right
not when we ran out of money
shoot.
in the middle of shooting. Yeah, and it was mostly food, because everyone has to stop what they're doing and be cooped up somewhere and
I had to rip up my
focus on a
shirts. I had to
project.
put on a bandana and go out and freaking hunt for stray dogs and cats out in the middle of the streets. And it's just I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah.
And it was snowing and I wasn't wearing pants and.
Yeah, and you eat one collie, and it just kind of puts a weird.
I think I got cholera from that collie.
Did you get cholera from that collie?
That collie didn't taste like cauliflower.
Now, how much time we have, Paul?
We have 3. No, wait, sorry. We got 5 minutes left.
5 minutes. Do we?
I got a math.
Do we want to read this thing about the podcast?
You can read this thing about the podcast. I wanted to throw out there the alarm that went off on my
Yeah.
phone. It is official. I will be at AwesomeCon in a couple of weeks. This podcast will probably be out before we're at AwesomeCon.
Okay.
But I will officially be doing some coverage at AwesomeCon.
Paul will be doing some shooting at AwesomeCon. We are going to
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Wouldn't that be awesome? We've got some great. If you want to come see Mr. Lobo in person, Williamsport. That's my hair. That's what he's in my hair is Williamsport. Shampoo. Williamsport Comic-Con in Williamsport, Pennsylvania,
Which is near Williamsport.
Yes, right around there on the other side of Williamsport.
Right
near Williamsport.
At the hotel at Williamsport.
Yes, the Williamsport.
The Williamsport Hotel.
Hotel in Williamsport.
And casino.
Is it really a casino?
No.
I was thinking, why would they have a casino? So Williamsport is a nice small town. We shot the comic book day in Williamsport.
Free comic book day.
Free
correct.
comic book day. Mr. Lobo
Correct.
does free comic book day, which is on your YouTube, which you can watch.
And Joe's been very excited to have us back.
Yeah.
He really likes that free comic book day. I did a piece for him a time before that he really loves. And he just wants to see what chaos that Mr. Lobo and I can get into.
Yeah,
and
we
see
might
what we
even
might end up
record
doing.
a podcast there, I think, too. I think that would be fun.
Right.
And
we'll name drop Isle of Comics too. That was the store.
Isle of Comics was the store, but and Williams Joe Figured.
Yes.
Is that his? He's the showrunner, right?
Correct. And Tracy Yeagle.
And she's the owner, right?
Correct.
And come see us at that show if you're nearby. That's on when? Do you know when that is? Is it April?
Fill some space and I'll
Okay.
look it up real quick.
Another
I
show.
bet you read that.
I can do that. Well, I was
Okay.
going to talk about
Right.
other shows. I'm going to be at the Haunters Convention in New Jersey, and I believe that is in May. Blobfest, I will be at in July. I'm the MC, and it is the 60th anniversary of The Blob. So the film, The Blob. So you've got to come down and see Mr. Lobo at Blobfest. And if you're a Patreon supporter, I will try to have something special with me for Patreon supporters. Or maybe I might just give you something if you're a Patreon supporter. I really appreciate what you guys do. With the episodes that we shot, the first cut of Beast of Yellow Night was 2 hours and 45 minutes. And we talked about this on the podcast. And so I wanted to read something that one of you said in regards to, would the Insomniacs withstand a 2 hour and 45 minute episode? Because I actually had Aaron go back and trim down the episode a little bit, drop some of the breaks, and cut a little more of the movie because I felt like 2 hours and 45 was way too fat. That's really.
And that's fat with a PH.
No, it's just fat with an F.
Oh, watch your language.
So we don't want to fat shame this episode, but it was a little too thick, a little too much junk in the trunk. But we want our fans to. We want to respect our fans' time, and if you think you're in for a 2 hour episode and then it goes on for another 45 minutes, that might be a hard watch. But this was a response from Abram03, and this is on the YouTube version of the podcast. Would I watch a 2 hour and 45 minute episode? Without a doubt. I'd go a 3 hour even. Misunderstood movies and the hosts that goof/analyze in the corners of them provide me more entertainment than any AAA flick. AAA flicks put me on edge. It's either going to be great or it's going to be some god-awful, chromed turd that I'm going to regret every minute of watching, feeling like some frosty-hearted caviar-munching executive is laughing his carbuncled ass off at me. More than 90% of the time, it's going to be the latter. I'm always looking at my watch. I'm always looking at other people, wondering if I'm actually supposed to be enjoying this, quote, too old for this shit 3, unquote, yet. So that would be the name of the movie, Too Old for This Shit 3. So stressful, so wasteful. I feel myself aging. Misunderstood cinema, though, is guaranteed to be, read more. I'm going to have to click this thing now. All right. Guaranteed to be a spectacular train wreck of artistic overreach. Stuff that would be worthy of play in Zeus's private theater on Mount Olympus if only the budget were higher and the creators had a bare ounce of that substance called talent. A failure, sure, but always a good and relaxed and life-affirming time. And the hosts, those wonderful interdimensional Mary Poppins-esque ghost wizards, increase the entertainment value by no less than 4 times. This kind of show, misunderstood cinema skillfully hosted, is grilled cheese for the soul. And I need a lot of grilled cheese. So, wow, thank you so much for that.
I think the main thing I got out of that is that we need to make some chrome-plated turds.
Yes.
And sell them.
Selling chrome-plated turds.
Good idea. It sounds like this guy is going to buy some.
Mm-hmm. The whole world is buying them.
The whole world we're missing out on it.
We're not getting on that chrome turd bandwagon. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for putting up with all of this. We are going to be going to yet another break.
And then I can talk about my fan.
Passive-aggressive roller coaster of artistic self-loathing that we like to call Sleepless Nights of Insomnia.
Prepare to scream. The creeping, crawling flesh eaters cover the body in the most vile experiment ever devised. Flesh feast. Morbid horror in shock-throbbing color. Plus on the same program, a ghastly tale drenched in clots of blood, a taste of blood, and teenage strangler. A new Bluebeard preying on budding teeny boppers. Don't miss them. Rated PG.
We're back once again for our final segment of the Sleepless Nights of Insomnia, where a little world weary today, a little beaten up. Like I said, we had a rough day. We've only been awake for 4 hours, and our biggest accomplishment
was going to the
post office
3 times.
3 times. So the first time we went there, it was just like I said, mailing a bunch of magnets. The second time, we forgot the address that we needed. The third time,
so we didn't even get there.
No,
we were a block away. We turned around, and came back,
and then basically we weighed a bunch of stuff that we couldn't yet afford to mail. That is going to England for Cliff, who wants a bunch of stuff from the shop that Dixie and I run, Area 707, which is inside Cackleberry Mall in Paradise, Pennsylvania.
Hashtag sponsored.
Hashtag sponsored. Yes, sure.
I guess
it's our sponsor. If you go there and you buy some things from our family-run collectibles booth,
eclectic crap,
as Paul likes to call it.
Now that we're talking, do I just skip dropping the commercial in this episode? We'll just do an inline commercial.
Oh no, drop the commercial in the episode too.
Well, this is the episode. This is the commercial times 2.
Yeah,
and action.
So come on over to Cackleberry Mall.
We expect to see you there tomorrow.
That's right. And Cackleberry is a joke, right? It means it's a chicken's egg, a cackleberry. So you get it?
No.
Cackleberry Farms.
You make fun of me and my Easter bakes.
Which you won't find, to be honest, you won't find a lot of antiques. You'll find a lot of collectibles, a lot of vintage stuff, a lot of stuff from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Not necessarily things that are 100 years old, which is strictly what an antique is, things that are 100 years old. But you will find a lot of goofy, eclectic crap. Now, you use the term eclectic crap in the Trauma Tour.
Right.
Which is weird because in Ready Player One, the writer also said eclectic
he ends up
crap.
using that one of his main character uses the eclectic crap phrase. I forget the context, but I thought it was funny because it's not something you hear a lot of. Eclectic
crap a turn of phrase?
I guess
it is now.
It is now.
Between
once Spielberg gets that movie out,
hopefully he says
it's going to be on shirts everywhere,
and then everyone will think that they stole it from you, Paul.
Hopefully. Yeah. Maybe I should copyright that real quick.
Eclectic crap. You get eclecticcrap.com.
Yeah.
You already have Pantsless Producer.
Already have pantslessproducer.com.
Oh yeah, that Pantsless Producer. Was there another Pantsless Producer?
No, but I wanted to make sure that I say that Pantsless Producer.
Pantsless Producer.
And I think we talked about this once before, whether or not it was pantsless, but in reality, it's pantless is how you actually say it. But pantsless is an acceptable term as well.
Pantsless is acceptable, but pantless, I think, is more proper. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand that thing of, we talked about pants and panties. They're always pluralized, and is it based on how many holes for your legs? What are we pluralizing? We're pluralizing a hole?
I don't know. Is it because when you buy man's undies, it's all one in a package, but then when you buy women's, it's only one at a time?
I don't know, because
Miss Mittens, what do you think about this?
Okay, that's just gross.
Yeah, well, I think she's holding a grudge from what I said earlier.
Okay, well, speaking of gross and gross jokes, Paul is famous for what we like to call around here dad humor, which is either just
been redubbed as Paul humor
or Paul humor,
Sanderisms,
which is either just sort of like that's what she said, or what's the other thing?
That's what she said. Gross. Gross is a lot.
Gross. Paul said, anybody says something that sounds a bit suggestive, he takes it there by calling it gross.
Or just turning some stuff like, was it last night you were talking about having an army of Seymour Krellborns, and I said, would an army of Seymour Krellborns be a seaman?
Yes. Would
we just call them seamen?
Yeah. No.
Why wouldn't they? Wouldn't that just be more than one Seymour? Would just be a seaman?
No. So Dixie's dad, who I guess it needs to be said is he works throwing chunks of steel around every day, fabricating ductwork out of steel. So this is a hardworking American man, I guess. I don't know what a better way. Blue collar.
I was just about to say, is that called blue collar?
I'm not sure. I got to get up on our collar things. But yeah, somebody who might eat at Red Lobster on a special occasion. So go ahead and tell me your story.
Well, he's my fan. That's it. I mean, you pretty much buried the lead there.
No, I didn't. That's not the story. The story is that he came in the house.
I don't even know
and
the
I think
context.
it was that's what
it just
she
says that's
said.
what she said, and he goes. I heard the secondhand because it was from Dixie, because he said it to Dixie. He's like, "Oh, he's funny."
Yeah. And I think it was more like, now he's funny. Kind of a backhanded slap in the face to Mr. Lobo, who makes his living as a comedian for the most part, or at least a humorist at the very least.
I always enjoy listening to Lobo and Dixie going, "Oh, you think he's hilarious?" I'm, "Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for the boost to my ego."
So Dixie's dad thinks Paul is hilarious. And
my number one fan. I'm going to get that printed on a sheet, on a shirt.
Now he's funny.
It's going to be one of those poster taglines like they have.
Yeah, he was very impressed with Paul's "that's what she said" and dad jokes.
It's just funny because none of us, including myself, really give a shit. It's like, I've said funnier things, and that's what she said.
Yes, Paul can be witty at times, but that's not what he was impressed with. So that's the story of Paul's fan.
That's my fan.
Mm-hmm. Dixie's dad.
Glad you guys held out for that hour to hear that. And then just completely dropped the ball at the end as planned. Before you get to that part, it is April 22nd is the Williamsport Comic Con.
Oh, thank you for
we'll do another quick Harrisburg Comic Con.
April
20th. Harrisburg? Williamsport Comic Con. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
There is no Harrisburg Comic Con this year, but it's Williamsport Comic Con, April 22nd.
Okay. And I
be there.
I may not be at Greater Philly. I'm hoping I hope maybe I'll be a last minute. Maybe they'll just decide they want me there. But Carlos Borloff and Sleazy P. Martini, I believe, of OSI 74, may be at at Greater Philly Comic Con, and I think they've invited me to tag along. So hopefully,
I'll be there.
You'll be there.
And I applied for press for you.
Oh, okay. So I might be there interviewing.
So you'll be there one way or another, maybe.
Or I might be there hanging out with Sleazy and Carlos Borloff, OSI 74 producers. Actually, you're all OSI 74 producers. So,
but I'm the funny one.
Yes, you're the real.
I'm
funny
the really
one.
funny one.
Now we have a Patreon for OSI 74, and of course, this podcast is a broadcast from the OSI 74 Black Knight satellite. To be
politically correct.
Politically correct. Oh my. So we have, I'd like to, these aren't OSI 74 patrons that I'm thanking right now. These are Mr. Lobo patrons. We have a lot of love for our OSI 74 patrons, but I've done a terrible job running the OSI 74 Patreon page. I think that I've learned a lot of lessons from the OSI page, and I've sort of made the Mr. Lobo page a little more interactive. The OSI page is like, well, gosh, if you like this content, give us $1 a month or whatever you think it's worth, which gets us so far. But with the Mr. Lobo page, there are more rewards and more interaction, and I'd like to go back and try to redo
fix what you've learned.
The OSI one and get it up to where the
it's a lot better than the Bestow TV one. It's just like, here's the Patreon. That's it. The end.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't even really maintain it. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
I mean, to do it right, it's almost a full-time job to do it right.
Correct.
You have to be there every day, engaging people. And
in my case, I pretty much did it just to claim the site name, knowing that I wasn't going to run it right away. But I wanted that /Bestow TV because, the run of 1,000,001 people who are going to want that.
And the other part with OSI is that it's a team effort, and it's like I can't make all the decisions for the entire team. So it's a little harder when I'm taking money on behalf of the channel when it's really just for our operational costs of the channel. And I really can't overextend that to, if you really like Sleazy's show, because Sleazy doesn't really get any of that money per se, unless you directly say, hey, I want you to give Sleazy some of this money.
And give him this letter to hand off to 20 other people.
Yes. Give
all these girls that I like.
We actually have a couple boxes here for Carlos Borloff and Sleazy from
that same guy too, isn't
from
it?
From the PO box. So if you want to send us anything, OSI 74, PO Box 74 at Glen, Pennsylvania 19310-0074.
Now we go there 3 times a day, so
yes. So hopefully we'll get something.
So hopefully something will be there one of these days.
So I wanted to go ahead and thank not all of our patrons, because I don't think we have time, but the $5 and the $10 patrons on the Cinema Insomnia thing. And we've got about 56, I think, patrons, and we're still trying to get 113 patrons, which I think is doable for first goal. All right, so on the $10, should we do the $10 first or the $5 first?
Let's do the $5.
Okay. So for the $5 supporters on Patreon, we'd like to, Paul will be personally thanking all of these people.
I don't remember signing away on that.
Well, I can thank them. All right, you want to read them and I'll thank them?
No, I'll botch it.
All right. Daniel Gall.
Thank you.
Good job. And I'll thank you too, Daniel. And Chuck Thompson.
A+.
Mm-hmm. And Lawrence Laney Lofton.
Superb.
Mm-hmm. We love Laney. He's great. Matthew Seidel.
Again, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And Matthew goes way back. He goes back to our we had a successful Kickstarter years back, and Matthew did a lot of grassroots kind of support, a lot of cool memes, if I remember correctly, from Matthew. And then Brian Henkel.
Be cool, dude.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you, for giving us $5 every month so that we can complain that we don't have enough money.
And now this is what, the $10?
These are the $10 folks on the Patreon as of recording of this broadcast. Tim Fatigue.
Thank you.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Please correct me if it's not fatigue or it's not fatigue, is
Fatigue.
it? But it's Tim Fatigue. Tim Fatigue.
Fatigue?
Fatigue?
Fatigue.
Fatigue. I don't know how I would say that, but I want to say it correctly, so please correct me. Sluggo Gonzalez.
Wash your hands.
That's a thank you?
Sure. Well, it's sound advice.
Okay. Christopher Wales.
Eat more bananas.
Okay. Scott Moon.
Look both ways when crossing the street. This is $10 tips. The other guys just got thank you. They're getting life lessons.
Yeah, okay. So you're really giving them something back. Yes. I get it now. Scott Moon was the archivist on the original Cinema Insomnia. A lot of the old film clips that you see on the show came from Scott. And Scott also wrote a lot of music for the show. So Scott has helped us in more ways just than monetarily. He's definitely helped us with the making the shows. Kim Wales.
Don't scratch that rash.
That's a good advice. Kim is a sleepless night. She is a Sinsomniac Supreme, one of our biggest fans, and just a great supporter. We really appreciate Kim. Jeffrey Arnett.
If you see it on the ground, just don't pick it up.
There's another Sinsomniac. Brian Reisbeck.
Knock twice before entering.
He's always looking out for us, Brian. If there's a problem with our website or something, he's like, hey, did you guys know your website is down?
Right.
We appreciate it.
And he always knocks twice before entering. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Derek Pulse.
If it's brown, flush it down. If it's yellow, let it mellow.
Wow. Wow. Now he's funny.
Now you can see why they say he's funny.
Yeah. Pulse, what a great last name. I hope that's your real last name, Derek. And if not, I won't judge you because, it's always code names with Mr. Lobo. I always like using people's code names. That's the one thing I hate about superhero movies is that it's always like, hey, Bruce. Clark, hey, Bruce. It's like, I'm sorry, you get to work with Superman. Don't you just want to call him Superman? No, that's not for real.
No,
enough.
Come on.
I
sound so weird if I say Superman.
Yeah, I'd be embarrassed to say Superman out loud. All right.
Speaking of secret identities.
Gregory Turan?
Yeah.
Secret identities? Is that a secret identity?
That was a secret identity. Otherwise known as... Oh, wait. I think I did that backwards.
Did you do it backwards?
I think we ruined it. Oh, I hope the Legion of Doom isn't listening.
Oh, no. Did we mess up?
Yeah, we did that backwards.
Gregory Turan.
Sorry, Gregory.
Jordan Dobbs Rosa.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's related to J.R. Bob Dobbs.
I don't know. When you tie your shoelaces, double knot.
Oh, okay.
Very good.
That's good advice. Jordan Dobbs Rosa, the first time I met him, he carved a jack-o'-lantern with Mr. Lobo's face on it. And then he carved a hypnotic eye in the back of the jack-o'-lantern so that when it was next to a wall, it would project a hypnotic eye behind it. So he had to make a backwards hypnotic eye so it would, amazing. Creative, talented guy. He's trying to make a movie called Explosion Truck. So he lives in Hollywood, so hopefully someone helps him out.
And watch that movie.
I want to see Explosion Truck happen.
Maybe host it.
I'll host it. If you get that funding and make Explosion Truck, I want to host that movie. Kelly DeMall.
Geez, I didn't know this list was. I didn't know this list was that long.
You could just say thank you,
huh? I say like don't pick your nose in public, but it's okay to pick your friend's nose.
That's the best you got for
Kelly. That is the best that I got for Kelly. I'm sorry.
Wow, Kelly, I owe you big. You're such a great fan, and we appreciate you. And Kelly is one of those like never complain, patient, heart of gold. And I'm sorry we don't have something better for you, Kelly. You deserve a lot better. Dennis Walburn. Or Dennis Walborn. Dennis Walborn looks like. Dennis Walborn.
Yeah. Make sure that your tires are at the proper pressure that they need to be.
Keep your tires, rotate them.
Rotate them.
Keep them inflated
Make
properly.
sure that make sure you sit in the car and the tires are rotated. Sit and rotate. Just remember that.
Check.
You should be fine.
Yes, and check your manual.
That's what she said.
Oh, wow. Rowdy Scarlet.
I think we did this before. Roddy Piper.
I guess that's it. I don't know. Is that advice?
I don't know. Is it advice?
Okay.
Oh wait. Well, this would be perfect advice for Roddy Piper. He came to chew gum and kick ass, and he's all out of gum. So just remember, you need to carry a lot of gum.
Stock up on gum. Okay, that's good advice. Rowdy Scarlet came out to one of the old zombie TV events. I think that was the first time I saw him, where we were at the Alamo Draft House. And he drove 4 hours or some obscene amount to just come see Mr. Lobo host a movie, which I thought was amazing.
And I hope you gave him gum when he got there.
I did not, but
you were due for a good ass kicking.
We did a selfie though. that saved me from an ass kicking, I think. And last but certainly not least, this was the guy I went all the way to the post office twice for today. Cliff Jones. Cliff Jones in Great Britain.
Badger Man Badger, I believe. On Twitch.
Yeah. On Twitch, Badger Man Badger.
Like
also, I believe
YouTuber.
On Patreon, he's Badger Man Badger.
Badger Man Badger. That was one of the comments. Was that we called him out on YouTube, and because his YouTube call name is a little bit different.
Yeah.
He's like, I prefer the Twitch one.
So Badger's
I'm
always.
sorry, there was that. I got to do it on my
always
British.
Funny. Was that British?
Was that my British?
No, that was terrible.
Good eye, mate.
Ooh.
Good day, mate.
God dang it.
I use Twitch, right? Crikey.
Paul, that's Australian, okay? Now,
I'll work on that. Sorry, Cliff.
Is it not UK anymore? Was there some sort of law passed? I always thought it was UK, but it's GB, Great Britain.
Did they Brexit?
Did they Brexit?
Is that why?
Brexit?
Brexit?
What's instead of exit?
Brexit? The whole British politic thing, jig, if you...
I don't know. I'm so uninformed, I just I just stuff a pancake in each ear and watch cartoons and ignore all events of the world.
One of your pancake stars horrible. I don't want them anymore now that I know the secret.
So anyway, bless you all. Thank you for just carrying Mr. Lobo.
And remember, those $10 level people. Those $10 level people, all that advice, it doesn't have to stick to one person. You can interchange them as much as you want.
You can share that advice.
You can share it amongst your friends.
We appreciate you. We appreciate all you do. This podcast would not exist without you. This was certainly an affect of wanting to be,
Affleck?
Not an Affleck, no. This is an affect, not Ben Affleck. This is
Bruce?
No, don't call him Bruce.
Batman.
Please, Paul.
Bananas.
Now he's funny. This podcast definitely is part of our being more transparent in what we're doing. And the reason we are choosing to be this transparent is because you're our boss now. It's not some network or some distributor or any of the other people that I've worked for in my career in the past. Now you are the boss. So we want to make sure you know what we're doing and how we're wasting your money. So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
And thank you, the rest of you, for listening to the Sleepless Nights of Insomnia. And we'll see you next time. You have been listening to the Sleepless Nights podcast, or should we say pODDcast.
pODDcast.
Emphasis on the odd. Our theme is by Mars Homeworld at Dead House Music. Our opening announcement is by Ophelia Necro. She does a radio show called Suicide Watch. And you could reach Mr. Lobo at cinemainsomnia.com or find me on YouTube, YouTube/Mr. Lobo. MISTERLOBO. Mr. Lobo on Facebook, Facebook/MR.LOBO, or on Twitter at Mr. Lobo, MISTERLOBO.
Or you can find myself, Paul Sanders, or better known as Bestow TV, at Bestow.tv, on YouTube /Bestow TV, on Twitter at Bestow Prod, PROD, and on Facebook, Bestow TV.
If you want to place an advertisement with this podcast, and gosh, why wouldn't you? We could be talking about you right now. Contact us, Mr. Lobo at cinemainsomnia.com. That's MRLOBO @CINEMAINSOMNIA.com. Or support us on Patreon. Patreon supporters get to hear this podcast before anyone else and a lot of other great stuff, right, Paul?
Sure.
Doesn't get it better than that, right? So come join the fun at patreons.com/cinema-insomnia. That's patreon.com/cinema-insomnia. Please stay up with us next week for another Sleepless Nights podcast. Or should we say, pODDcast.
pODDcast.
The best thing about being an insomniac is never having to say goodnight.
Good night.